In this video, I'm gonna show you how to bring your videos closer to perfect retention on YouTube. We're going to do this by using B-roll as well as other tools right in the Movavi video editor. And to put it in numbers, retention is an extremely important metric. If you have low retention, YouTube will know that your videos are not interesting to watch and they're not worth pushing forward. Of course, this is not the only indicator YouTube looks at, but it's one of the most important. On YouTube, for the most part, we make videos like this, where someone tells you something on camera, and our job is to make that on-camera narration more interesting. It's boring to just watch a talking head. One way to make your video more interesting is to use different clips, transitions, and graphics in the video editor. Movavi Video Editor Plus has a lot of built-in presets, and even more in Movavi Unlimited, because it includes the best from Movavi in one intuitive platform. There are tools for video editing, photo retouching, screen recording apps, and file conversion. You get 9 programs and unlimited 1-year access to the effects store for the price of one application. And an average computer is enough to run the platform. But another important tool for increasing retention is B-roll. So here is me shooting B-roll. This is footage that goes on top of what you're saying. It helps to tell a story of your video better. It also adds to the dynamics of the video, which in turn affects retention. With properly shot B-roll, your viewers will watch your videos longer. On our tech channel, we spend a lot of time on B-roll, and the audience always appreciates the quality, as you can see from the comments. Good B-roll has a real impact on your channel. This is the reason why big YouTubers stay focused on creating good B-roll footage in all of their videos, because without B-roll, the video turns into an average, boring one. But it can be a painful process to shoot B-roll, especially if you're doing it for the first time or even the 5th time. It's still confusing. So today you're going to learn how to create your B-roll simply without headaches. Let's keep it simple. Forget studio lights, forget any professional gear, because even if you have that gear, you're going to spend a lot of time setting it up, finding the right scene, and that takes time, which you probably don't have. So first, find a small space, a room that has lots of daylight. Ideally, not direct sunlight, because along with direct sunlight will come exposure problems. And if you don't have such a place, just film at the beginning or end of day when the light is softest. Second, I've said it many times before, but I'll say it again, write the shooting plan. If you don't make a plan, I guarantee you will shoot bad footage. You'll rush, you'll fuss, you'll end up confused, and you'll start thinking, that doesn't make sense, it doesn't affect retention, but it makes sense. B-roll makes your video more interesting, so open your script and highlight the most important parts of your script. Start at the beginning, the first minute or so. First, you need to create a good trailer for your video, a good hook. The very beginning of the video is where you state to the viewer what today's video is about and why they should watch it. Essentially, the entire life of your video depends on it. So you, as an editor, need to keep that in mind as well. It's really not that hard to do a hook for a YouTube video. It's not like a movie. You can say something very quick like, today we're going to talk about this and then this, or you can describe in more detail the problem you wrote in the title of the video. And then say that in this video you will learn the solution to that problem. And make the hook quick, don't stall for time. At the beginning, every video gets a dramatic drop in retention. People either scroll through or turn off the video. Your job is to raise that line as high as possible and keep it as straight as possible throughout the video. And to make the hook more interesting, you need to add B-roll correctly. It's very important and many people usually mess up here. I mean, here's an example of a hook from one of our videos. Finally, I've been using my new base model M2 MacBook Air for a week now, and I'm ready to share my personal experience with you. What are the pros and cons I encountered? Can the M2 chip really be considered a new generation? And should you get yourself a brand new MacBook Air, considering just one NAND chip and throttling? Now you have to think about what kind of B-roll you can create to make this part of the video exciting. How do you show this part in action? You need to think of framing, movement, and emotion. To make it clear, here are 2 examples, one bad, one good. Let's start with the bad one. Finally, I've been using my new base model M2 MacBook Air for a week now, and I'm ready to share my personal experience with you. What are the pros and cons I encountered? Can the M2 chip really be considered a new generation? And should you get yourself a brand new MacBook Air, considering just one NAND chip and throttling. As you can see, the point is clear, but it doesn't grab your attention as much as it could. Here is the second example. Finally, I've been using my new base model M2 MacBook Air for a week now, and I'm ready to share my personal experience with you. What are the pros and cons I encountered? Can the M2 chip really be considered a new generation? And should you get yourself a brand new MacBook Air, considering just one NAND chip and throttling? See, it adds emotion, movement, and it's more interesting to watch. So when you understand the emotion, also think about what angle and framing looks best. There are some things to keep in mind that can help you with that. The first one is bokeh and depth. The idea is that some objects in the foreground must be out of focus and the main actions in focus. It makes you feel like someone is watching, hiding behind the objects. To shoot this, divide the frame into 3 parts by the rule of thirds and leave the main part of the video at 2/3 and the defocus at 1/3. The second one is close-ups. Close-ups accurately reveal the details you're talking about. That is, you can go straight through the script and shoot close-ups of the exact actions you're talking about. At the same time, when you shoot close-ups, you hide unnecessary details. That is, you reveal the main point, but you don't reveal too much. Don't reveal all the cards at once or the viewer will turn off the video. The third is the wide shots. Wide shots reveal a lot of information and show the atmosphere. The viewer can understand where it's happening, what the person in the frame is interacting with, and gives more insight into what's going on. But don't reveal too much. Use wide shots not so often. And with practice, you'll get a better understanding of what's what and in which case it's better to use a particular shot to keep the viewer's attention. And of course, B-roll can look like anything that fits your style better. You don't have to do it the way I do. And you can even use stock videos so you don't have to shoot B-roll yourself, and we use those too. But still, when possible, it's better to shoot your own B-roll. It's really worth it. To help you better understand the difference, here's the same part of the video again, not with my B-roll, but with stock videos. Finally, I've been using my new base model M2 MacBook Air for a week now, and I'm ready to share my personal experience with you. What are the pros and cons I encountered? Can the M2 chip really be considered a new generation? And should you get yourself a brand new MacBook Air, considering just one NAND chip and throttling? Stock videos are limited. It's hard enough to find exactly what you want. And if there is another person in the video, there won't be that magic. The viewer will feel the disconnect and it doesn't affect engagement as much as your own B-roll. Yeah, shooting your own B-roll will take longer and it's harder, but if you want to take retention to the next level, it's a must. So pick some part of your video, plan and shoot your B-roll to make it more interesting, and shoot 3 close-ups, 3 wides, and 3 stylized shots of the same action. Then throw all those shots into the Movavi video editor and play around with the shot placement, see what looks best. By the way, the converter in Movavi Unlimited makes it easier to work with your files. It will help you prepare and compress heavy camera files for faster editing or improve the quality of older video. Movavi's software integration lets you bring all your footage straight to the timeline. When editing, always make sure that your video at any moment doesn't stop giving the viewer new information. You have to cut everything that doesn't relate to your subject matter. It's a simple idea, but in reality you'll come across cool footage that you really want to keep, but in fact it should definitely be cut. You have to figure this out beforehand by looking at the retention chart. When you see a sharp drop in the chart, it means people are scrolling through, they're not interested. All of this will ultimately shape the pace of your video. By trial and error, you need to find a pace that is comfortable for your audience. If you want to increase audience retention, you have to be careful how you cut your videos. In talking head videos where there is one angle and one YouTuber, I suggest using jump cuts. The logic is, why follow the rules when you can roughly cut all the pauses and thereby increase retention? But it doesn't work in all niches. For example, it would be incorrect if in some important interviews you cut pauses between the guest's words, as if he's trying to hide something. But if it's a regular YouTube video where you don't have to record everything in one take, you can save safely cut out the extras using jump cuts. If you don't really like the way it looks, again, you can cover it all with the B-roll we've already talked about today. You can also smooth out the jump cuts with a little zooming in and out. In the Movavi video editor, just use the zoom in or zoom out effect. You can also combine this with the Ken Burns effect, that is smooth zoom in or smooth zoom out. It works really well. And to increase retention, transitions are very helpful. This is an essential video structuring tool, and Movavi Unlimited has hundreds of them. When a simple cut isn't enough anymore, transitions come to the rescue. Not only are they designed to separate different parts of your video, they can also make it even more expressive. For example, this transition looks cool in my case. And right now, the Movavi Unlimited annual plan is available at 85% discount on a special page. The promotion is limited in time, so hurry up and click the link below to take advantage of this offer. Also, avoid endings. You don't need them at all. A lot of people end their videos with something like, "That's it for today, thank you very much for watching," and then there is a video for about a minute or even more. When you say that, viewers quickly realize that's the end and turn it off right away. But to turn a viewer into a subscriber, you need to direct the viewer to another video as quickly as possible. So at the end, don't tell them it's the end and advise them to watch other videos on the channel as quickly as possible. For example, you can watch one of these videos. There's a lot of useful information about promoting your videos and editing. And see you in the next one.